For thousands of years, there was a crop that did not ask to be replanted from seed. It did not depend on seed catalogs, soil bags, or seasonal supply chains. It did not require annual purchases, patented genetics, or chemical inputs. Once established, it simply continued. It grew from itself. It multiplied through cuttings. It fed entire civilizations without ever entering a market. And because of that, it was quietly eliminated. This is the story of taro. Long before modern agriculture divided the world into exporters and importers, taro formed the backbone of food systems across Polynesia, Melanesia, Micronesia, Southeast Asia, parts of Africa, and India. In these regions, taro was not a side dish, it was life. In Polynesia, taro was not just eaten, it was revered. It shaped settlement patterns, labor rhythms, spiritual practice, and social structure. Families organized their lives around taro patches. Chiefs derived legitimacy from their ability to protect and distribute it. Ancestral stories traced human origins back to the taro plant itself. This was not symbolic exaggeration. It was practical truth. Taro could grow where grains failed. It thrived in wetlands, river valleys, terraces, and flooded fields. It tolerated heavy rain, heat, and unstable conditions. It produced dense, storable calories, and most importantly, once you had taro, you never needed to buy it again. Taro does not rely on seeds. It is propagated through cuttings, small pieces of the corm replanted into soil or mud. Each plant gives rise to many more. The cycle is continuous. There is no annual reset. This made taro fundamentally different from seed-based agriculture. Seed-based systems create dependency. You plant, harvest, and replant. You lose seeds, you lose food. You buy seeds, you survive. Taro broke that logic entirely. A single taro patch, properly maintained, could feed a family indefinitely. Larger systems fed entire islands. Polynesian societies engineered complex irrigation networks, not to maximize profit, but to ensure continuity. Water flowed slowly through terraced patches, carrying nutrients from one plot to the next. No fertilizers, no monocrops, no waste. The system regenerated itself. This is why taro supported long-distance voyaging cultures. Polynesians crossed thousands of miles of open ocean not as desperate migrants, but as confident settlers. They carried taro cuttings with them, living food. Wherever they landed, taro anchored survival. It was portable abundance. Taro was also nutritionally complete enough to sustain demanding lives. Rich in carbohydrates, fiber, potassium, magnesium, and resistant starch, it provided long-lasting energy and gut stability. Its leaves added protein, calcium, and micronutrients. Together, root and leaf formed a complete food system. This was not accidental. It was refined over millennia. So why did it decline? Not because it failed, but because it did not fit the new order. Colonial systems were built around export crops, not subsistence. They required commodities that could be standardized, shipped, taxed, and controlled. Sugarcane, coffee, cotton, rice, these crops fit the model. Taro did not. Taro fed locals first. It resisted scale. It stayed rooted in place. Colonial administrators labeled this inefficiency. In reality, it was independence. In many regions, taro patches were deliberately neglected, drained, or replaced. Wetlands were converted into fields for export crops. Irrigation systems that once nourished entire communities were dismantled or redirected. The logic was simple. If people fed themselves, they did not need wages. If they did not need wages, they were harder to control. Monocrop agriculture solved that problem. Grains and cash crops required annual labor, purchased inputs, and centralized processing. They created dependency on landowners, on markets, on colonial economies. Taro did not, so it was sidelined. In Hawaii, traditional taro farming declined sharply under plantation agriculture. Water that once fed taro terraces was diverted to sugar fields. Land was privatized. Knowledge was disrupted. Taro, once sacred and central, became marginal. In Southeast Asia, wetland taro was replaced by rice monoculture. In Africa and the Caribbean, colonial systems favored export crops over local staples. In each case, the pattern repeated. A crop that fed people directly was replaced by crops that fed markets first. This transition was framed as modernization, but its consequences were structural. Diets became less diverse. Food systems became fragile. Communities became dependent. Taro was not erased by accident. It was displaced by design. Because a crop that never needs seeds, never needs replanting, and never needs external input threatens any system built on recurring sales. You cannot sell soil bags to a taro patch that regenerates itself. You cannot patent a cutting passed down through generations. You cannot easily monetize continuity. And so, taro was recast as traditional, backward, subsistence, words that quietly remove legitimacy. Over time, urban populations lost familiarity with it. Younger generations associated it with poverty or rural life. Imported foods replaced local staples. Taro survived mainly in ceremony, nostalgia, or isolated pockets. Yet it never disappeared. Because taro is resilient, it grows back even when neglected. It spreads underground. It waits. That forgetting did not happen overnight. It happened generation by generation. As taro was pushed to the margins, something deeper was lost alongside it: the relationship between food and place. Taro was not just a crop you harvested. It was a system you participated in. Families shared water. Communities maintained channels. Knowledge was practical, embodied, and collective. When taro systems declined, they were replaced by something very different. Food became abstract, detached from land, detached from water, detached from ancestry. Imported staples arrived wrapped in paper, then plastic. Calories became cheaper, but thinner. The work of feeding oneself was outsourced to distant systems few understood and even fewer controlled. In this transition, taro disappeared not only from fields, but from imagination. Children grew up without seeing how food regenerates itself. They learned to think of nourishment as something finite, transactional, something that arrives from elsewhere. The idea that food could reproduce endlessly from cuttings, without seeds or inputs, no longer made sense. This is why taro's decline matters beyond nutrition. It represents a different logic of survival. A logic where continuity mattered more than yield, where regeneration mattered more than efficiency, where food security was measured in years, not seasons. Modern agriculture measures success by output per acre. Taro measured success by how long a community could endure. As climate patterns destabilize, seed-based systems reveal their fragility. Crops fail when timing shifts. Seeds lose viability. Supply chains fracture. Fertilizers become scarce or unaffordable. Taro does not care about calendars. It does not depend on imported inputs. It does not collapse when shipments are delayed. Its underground corm stores energy. Its leaves regrow after damage. Its propagation simply continues. This is why, in regions experiencing floods rather than drought, taro often outperforms modern crops. While fields rot and seeds wash away, taro remains anchored. Its relationship with water, once dismissed as primitive, becomes adaptive. And now, as climate instability accelerates, the qualities that once made taro inconvenient are becoming valuable again. Modern agriculture struggles with water management. Monocrops fail under stress. Supply chains grow brittle. Meanwhile, taro continues to do what it has always done. Grow without seeds. Regenerate without permission. Feed without markets. Researchers now recognize taro's resistant starch content, beneficial for metabolic health and gut microbiota. Its ability to stabilize blood sugar contrasts sharply with refined grains. Its tolerance for wet conditions makes it suitable for landscapes increasingly shaped by flooding. But recognition does not guarantee restoration. Taro still does not fit industrial frameworks. It does not align with centralized distribution. It is best grown locally, eaten locally, and maintained communally. That is its strength and its challenge. Because modern systems are not designed to support foods that empower communities directly. They are designed to support foods that move through pipelines. Taro bypasses the pipeline. It offers food security without dependency, continuity without purchase, resilience without scale. And that is why it was eliminated. Not everywhere, not completely, but systematically enough to reshape diets, landscapes, and memory. The disappearance of taro was not a failure of agriculture. It was a success of control. Yet the story is not over. In Hawaii, taro farming is being restored as an act of cultural survival. In parts of the Pacific, communities rebuild irrigation systems once abandoned. In flood-prone regions, agronomists reconsider wetland crops once dismissed. Each rediscovery carries the same realization. The future may not belong to crops that demand constant input. It may belong to crops that regenerate themselves. Taro does not promise convenience. It promises continuity. It does not scale globally. It scales locally, everywhere. The crop that never needed seeds or soil bags was never obsolete. It was incompatible with a system that profits from forgetting how to feed itself. Taro was not eliminated because it failed. It was eliminated because it worked, endlessly, quietly, without permission. And in a world facing limits again, that kind of crop becomes dangerous in a different way. Because it reminds us that food security does not have to be bought. Sometimes it only has to be remembered.